Paul, thanks for joining us. Talking about this shift to One Nation.
Thanks, Chris.
We'll test it at the ballot box in the South Australian election. It's been reflected so strongly in federal polls. All the evidence and all the arguments suggest that it's being driven in large part by immigration policy. There are a number of other issues as well, but immigration policy is where One Nation have been strong and consistent for decades. Does that mean that in your portfolio, the Coalition has lost touch with the wishes of centre-right voters?
Well, Chris, we've got to be focused on the national interest. We need an immigration policy that is in the national interest and has the support of a great majority of the Australian people. And we were working very diligently towards the back end of last year in developing policy principles and also initiatives which were very close to an announcement. And I was working very close with the Shadow Home Affairs Minister, John O'Doniam, and we're on the cusp of releasing those policies, which I think would have reflect the concerns of the Australian people. The fact of the matter is our rate of migration, our rate of immigration is still 90,000 above the pre-COVID-19 pandemic levels, about 41% or so above those levels. Immigration's
too high, and we've got 3,000 people coming in from Gaza under some sort of secrecy. Did I hear you right? Did you just say you're on the cusp of releasing an immigration policy?
I said we're on the cusp of releasing that policy before the Bondi terrorist attack, before that massacre. So we've done a lot of work on the policy, and obviously, given what happened at Bondi.
So when will you release the policy? I mean, your party, your coalition parties are bleeding on this issue. It's a front-of-mind concern for so many Australians. They're flocking to One Nation because One Nation are clear on immigration, and here you are still sitting on an immigration policy.
Well, you know what happened at Bondi. The immediate reaction to Bondi from the Coalition was to focus on what needed to be done following that terrorist event. And there's obviously been a number of things that have occurred at the front end of this year which have diverted attention from the release, the finalisation of the policy. I agree, it needs to be released as quickly as possible.
I find that astonishing, and you'll wonder why the Coalition is floundering. Thanks so much for joining us, Paul. I appreciate it. Paul Scarr there, who's the Shadow Immigration Minister. There's been no one as torn apart over Bondi as me. Let me correct that, I'm sorry, because of course there's so many direct victims and relatives here. But as you know, this is an issue that's been front of mind and front of heart for me and others on this station right throughout. So I'm never going to discount the focus on Bondi. But immigration is central. And immigration plays into even the concerns that come out of Bondi. To think that this coalition is floundering and it's been sitting on its immigration policy while Pauline Hanson and One Nation make hay, well, that is just astounding, doesn't it? It shows you, it helps explain why this shambles of an opposition under Susan Lee are doing so poorly.